Last week, we were talking about the difference between our expectations and the reality, and where is God in the middle of that? Well, this time around, we're talking about what do we do when we are actively waiting for God to do something when we're impatient, when we're hustling, when we're overwhelmed. Has anybody felt like at the beginning of this year, you just already got into a tizzy and you started freaking out and you felt like you were out of control and the thing that you planned for wasn't the thing that you thought it was going to be and you didn't know what was going to happen? Like, all of us enter life and we have expectations, hopes, but then we start grabbing a hold of things. We start trying to control things. And the ultimate reason why we hurry and why we grab for control is because we ultimately want comfort. We want to feel like there's a sense of peace in our life. And we realize even when we're anxious and overwhelmed and hurried, we never really actually get that comfort, but we still keep going for it. Like my dad, when I was growing up, my dad was your prototypical 1990s airport dad. What I mean by that is anytime we had a trip, we're from Colorado, and he's like, boys, kids, family, we're flying to Disney World in Orlando. It's gonna be a great trip. We're gonna go to the airport. We're gonna fly out. Our flight's at 4 p.m., and it's gonna be awesome. We're like, man, this is gonna be so great. All right, how do we do this, Dad? And he's like, well, first, we gotta get ready for the airport. My dad would first and foremost go to Costco, and he would buy himself brand new white New Balance shoes because that's just what guys in the 90s looked like, right? Those big old, before New Balance was cool, because they all are cool now, those big old loafers. He'd get himself some brand new Wranglers, right? And then he would tell us, all right, for a 6 p.m. departure, we got to get to the airport at 8 a.m. Because he was one of those guys. He was like, we don't know. We do not know what TSA is going to look like. We have no clue what it's going to be like. Checking luggage, guys, is going to be the worst thing. I mean, like, he made it out to be the most terrifying experience of all time. And so we'd get a taxi, we'd get dropped off. He's like, let's go, get to the thing, take your shoes off, get through that thing, put your hands up, and we're just like, what do we do? So we get in, and sure enough, you get to the airport at 8, flight's out at 4. What time do you think we get to the gate? Like at 8:45. And we're there. And then what happens when you're a 90s kid, early 2000s? There ain't no iPads, right? There's no smartphones. You just sit there looking at the carpet. And your dad's just sitting there just like doing nothing. He's staring at a wall, just having a great time, right? Guys, this is anxiety inducing for people like me, right? But why was he doing that? Why is there this incessant need to control, to grab, it's because we want comfort. Because entering into a situation that feels daunting, we don't control that, we don't work through that. And this happens in all of our life. It's not just the airport. You do this at your job, you do this with your family, you do this with your body, you do this in your world. We do this when it comes to our government. We're freaking out because it feels like the world's collapsing and so we try to control, we try to grab, we try to say, I want comfort, I'm gonna grab it. And Habakkuk has every right to be that guy, has every right to be in a crazy, hurried mess. And instead, he chooses to actively wait on God. Craziest situation. Look at this, Habakkuk chapter 2, starting in verse 1. He says this, he says, I will stand and watch and station myself on the ramparts. Now, hold on a second. What's going on here? Well, Habakkuk, this is 600 years before Jesus, 2,600 years ago. Habakkuk is a prophet for the people of Israel. He's seeing his whole nation fall apart. He's seeing his own people fall into collapse. Their economy's tanking. The people are no longer living morally. They've got a bad king ruling the country. It feels like no one's even worshiping God anymore. It's not good. His family's falling apart. His people are falling apart. The nation's not doing well. So he's crying out. He's saying, God, where are you? What are you doing? God actually tells him in the previous chapter, well, Habakkuk, I see the injustices. I see the brokenness, and I've got a plan. But, Habakkuk, my plan is not to just deliver my people out of their brokenness. It's actually to discipline them first. I love them, so I'm going to discipline them. And he says, I'm going to send a nation called Babylon to come and discipline my people, which none of us likes hearing that, right? God, where are you? What are you doing? Are you going to solve this problem? And then God goes, I am going to solve this problem, but I'm going to solve it in a way that would make you deeply uncomfortable. I'm going to do it in the way that you would never want. And that's the status we kind of got Habakkuk last week. Well, now what he's doing is he's like, okay, God, you said you're going to bring this nation. You said you're going to do something. You said that maybe, just maybe, in the midst of all of this chaotic mess of a life, somehow you're going to come through. I'm hurried, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go stand at my watch. I'm going to go up onto the highest level of the outside gates of the city. An ancient city had these watchtowers, and you'd go to a station perked up on top. That's where the people who shot arrows and bows were there. And he says, I'm going to go up onto the ramparts, which is the very outer edge of the wall itself. And he says, I'm just going to begin to look. In the midst of all that's going on, my fears, my worries, I'm just going to go and I'm going to begin to look and I'm going to see. All right, what will God say to me? What's going on? What answer am I going to give to this complaint? What's actually happening here? Now, I want you to notice what Habakkuk is doing and what he is not doing, okay? Habakkuk is walking into an objectively chaotic, anxiety-filled situation, and he is not losing his mind. He is not trying to initiate a political rally to stop Babylon because he doesn't like what God's doing and this is not okay and he needs to take things under his control. He is not initiating a brand new podcast about what's going on and how he's anxious and overwhelmed and all these things. He's not hurrying. He's not freaking out. He has every right to, but he's not. Instead, he does something that feels so unbelievably counterintuitive to the depths of our soul. He goes to the place where he's about to observe stuff that brings his anxiety out. He's about to walk into the family dinner Thanksgiving of this last year where your uncle's losing his mind. He's about to enter into that business meeting you got on Thursday and you might actually have to lay off some people and it's not going to be good and it's anxious and it's overwhelming. He's about to walk into the most disparaging kind of situation, and instead of bringing anxiety, he goes and he actively waits. He doesn't sit back and get into the fetal position and just cry and scream, which is what most of us do, right? If I'm not okay and I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed, my default is to lose my mind and not know what to do. But Habakkuk doesn't do that. He doesn't just waste time doing absolutely nothing. Instead, he goes. He puts himself in a position to observe what God may or may not do, and he waits. He chooses to get away. He chooses to watch for what God may do. In fact, he actually says he's going to choose to listen to God. Now, can we just stop there for a second? Imagine the most, complicated situation you're about to walk into this week. Think about it. Maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe you get the Sunday scaries and you just hate your job. You're like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Maybe it's school. Maybe it's starting school. Maybe it's finals. Maybe it's I got counseling with my spouse again. Our marriage is on the fritz. I don't know what's going on. Think about the most complicated situation of your entire life, and you have been questioning where God is at the entire time. Picture it. Imagine if you walked into that situation and you said to yourself, all right, Lord, I'm going to watch. I'm going to listen. I don't have the wisdom to know how to get out of this situation. I don't have the knowledge to get myself out on my own, so I'm just going to listen. I think that would already change the environment of the room you're about to walk into. Maybe. But there's an active component to this waiting. He's waiting with intentionality. God, what are you doing? And as he's listening, lo and behold, God speaks. It's amazing if we actually position ourselves in a way where we want to hear from God and we get away from the noise of the world. We get away on the outer skirts of the city wall, so that way, that'd be like getting away from the 405 and getting out of it far enough you don't even hear the craziness anymore. It's amazing when things get quiet at how loud God actually gets. And so God speaks. Look at this in verse 2 through 3. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation. Make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. Verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. So this is a really interesting response from God. Habakkuk's overwhelmed and anxious and nervous and hurried. He doesn't know what's going on, so he's waiting. And God kind of starts talking poetically. I wish that we all spoke Hebrew, because we could just read this in Hebrew and you'd actually feel like the cadence of it. God is poetically replying back to God in, like, honestly, the most modern day equivalent of this would be like hip hop. God is hearing Habakkuk go, God, I'm listening, I'm waiting, where are you? Are you even attentive? Do you care? And all of a sudden, God starts like rap battling back to Habakkuk. And he goes, well, okay, here we go, Habakkuk. Write down the revelation. Make it plain on tablets so that the herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time, and it speaks of the end. It will not prove false, though it linger, it wait for it. It will certainly come, it will not delay. Because I'm not making this stuff up. Like, Hebrew is very poetic. Now, I don't look the complexion of someone who should be rapping, so I'm going to keep that at bay. But there's a cadence to this, because there's something beautifully calming about when everything feels like this. Crazy, complicated, insane, all over the place, nutso, noise. There is something so simple and soothing about when noise is everywhere and all of a sudden you just start hearing a beat, a rhythm, a cadence. It cuts through everything. This is why when babies are losing their minds, which never happens in kids' church, so you should serve in kids' church, okay? When babies are freaking out, what does a mom do? Starts moving a little bit, get a little rhythm. Maybe they sing like a ridiculous song, like, whatever it is. It's because we're built for this. We want this. We need to be moved. We want to feel like there's somebody else in control other than us. And here's the amazing thing. What God tells Habakkuk is basically stringing him along. I mean, look at what he says. There's these phrases which are crazy, but just basically God saying, hey, Habakkuk, I get it. Be patient. It's going to be okay. There's going to be this. It's going to be all right. Hold on a second. Look, if you're curious, look at what he says. He says, write down the revelation, which means a deposit of knowledge from heaven to a situation. So he goes, okay, write it down. And you're like, well, what's the revelation? Oh, no, we're not going to give you that yet. For the revelation, it awaits, and it will not prove false. So this is going to be good, Habakkuk. And though it's going to linger, wait for it. It will not delay. You're like, wait, so what is it? Like, God, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, I'm hurried, I'm frustrated. I'm relying on you, I'm listening to you, and it's almost as if God is just sitting there going like, shh. It's gonna be okay. Slow down. It's going to take some time. Like, that kind of stuff makes you just lose your mind, right? Right? You guys ever been to a gym? And they're like, we're going to do abs today. And they're like, we're just going to do 3 minutes of abs. And you're like, I know you're not going to do just 3 minutes of abs, Mr. Person, you know? And then they're like, all right, here we go. We're just going to do some crunches. 30 seconds, let's do it. 20 seconds, 10 more seconds. And then it's like 40 seconds later, they're like, 5, 4. And you're just like, I'm gonna murder you. Like, what are you, like just yesterday, my wife and I, we were in the backyard, and I have really bad ADHD, and I'm on meds for it, and right at about 1 p.m. every day, I kind of turn into my dog, who's a golden doodle, and he gets the zoomies, right? And I get zoomies, and it's not good. I need to do something super physical, and so at 1 p.m., we're just hanging out in the backyard, and I was like, Brienne, you know what we should do? We should do ab workouts. Let's do it. And she was like, why? And I was like, because I'm amped, babe. Let's go. And she's like, okay, fine. And so I set this whole timer up, 5 minutes, doing the thing. And I was like, every minute on the minute, we're going to change. We're going to move. We're going to position ourselves. It's going to be super awesome. Let's get these six-packs. Let's go. And so we're doing the thing. And she's like, this is so, okay, fine. So she's doing the thing with me. And in the very last minute, I had us in this super weird position, and I was crunching us up, and then the entire time, my whole goal was just to drive her nuts. And I was sitting there, and I was pushing, and I was like, babe, slower. You gotta feel it in your chest. Go slower. To the point where she's like, I can't go any slower. And at one point, I was like, is she gonna hit me? What is going on? But there's a sense, none of us feel let's be real, guys. None of us feel comfortable when we have already put ourselves in a position to say, God, I'm listening. I'm overwhelmed. I am trusting. I'm trying, God. None of us like to be there where we feel like we're an empty vessel waiting for God to pour the wine of the kingdom into us. None of us like being there, and then God says, just wait a little bit more. It's so discouraging. Because we're like, well, God, Amazon Prime this nonsense, God. Let's go. 2-day shipping, I want it now. I want it in, here, right now. Order, boop, delivered. That's the disposition we have. And yet God is no, I care about your patience. I care about your steadfastness. I care about your slow. Because God's not always in the business of solving the problem you think he needs to solve right away. More often than not, God's actually trying to work on the reason why you're hurried, and then you start controlling, because ultimately you want to be comforted not by God, but by something else. And so God's saying to Habakkuk, it's going to happen. I'm going to do my thing. You got to wait. You got to trust. You got to listen. But would you just slow down? My mentor, his name is Dave Thiessen. We talk every single month, the third Wednesday of every month at 2 p.m. He's been mentoring me for about 15 years. He's in his late 60s, and he is the most patient, non-anxious man I've ever met. And every single time we talk, he'll call me. I'll pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, Dave, how are you? Immediately, I'll just hear him take just the big deep breath. He's like, I'm good, Josh. And I'm like, Dave, come on, bro. And then as soon as he says I'm good, then I'll be like, oh, that's super great. Well, today was, and he's like, and he'll interrupt me every time. Josh, how are you? I'm like, yeah. I do not have time for this. And it's like the liturgy, the cadence, the rhythm of him, non-anxious, slow, patient, kind. It's he instills in me, because of his rhythm, just an ability to chill out. Wait a second, I should be breathing that way. I should be listening. I shouldn't be so nervous on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. That's what God is doing to Habakkuk. He's just loving on him, slowing him down. That's what he's probably doing to you right now as you're frustrated and you're annoyed and he's not doing the thing that you want him to, and you're like, come on! And he's just, how we doing, Joel? Zeke, how we doing, bud? We really, really like it when God is vindictive and immediate and does what we need when we want it, because he feels powerful. But this version of God, who is patient, long-suffering, it drives us nuts, man. unless God is being patient with us. Then we actually really love it. Because we're like, God, please be patient with me. I know I'm not getting this right. Please be gracious to me. Please be. We want to receive the patience of God, but we can't stand it when God chooses to be patient with the things we need. So God's just training Habakkuk. Slow down, bud. Slow down. Slow down. Well, why? What's the one thing that he kind of can just take? Well, it's in verse 4. I wish that we got 3, action steps to eradicate our anxiety. But God just tells Habakkuk something really, really, really amazing. He says, all right, Habakkuk, I want you to look and see. See the enemy, Babylon. See the enemy, the broken, corrupt nation. See the enemy, your boss. See the enemy, the person who thinks they're going to gain whatever they want to gain. See the enemy, the hustlers, the deceivers, the vindictive people in this world that think that they're going to gain and you're going to lose. See the very people that you, church, feel like they always win and you never win, and that's why you got to control, and that's why you got to be hurried because you can't get comfort, and they seem to always get it and you don't get it. God goes, I want you to look. That person is puffed up. Their desires, they are not upright. Even though it seems like everybody's winning and you're not, I see it. They're puffed up. They are not upright, but the righteous person, the one given the holiness of God, will live by his faithfulness. In the Hebrew, which is the original language that this was written in, the objects and the subjects are actually in different spots. Paul actually quotes this in Romans. What Paul and Habakkuk are saying here is not, life is really hard. God sees all of the wicked. God's going to do what he needs to do, but don't you worry, because if you're righteous and you're faithful, it's going to go amazing. That's not at all what God's saying here. That is not at all what the promise is. God is saying to Habakkuk, I see, I understand your anxiety, I understand the worry, the fear, the frustration. I am all-knowing. And I am also eternally faithful. And he says that if you are righteous and you are then faithful to me, here's the best news on earth. You will endure, you will get through, you will be able to persist, not because of you, but because of my faithfulness to you. You guys getting that? God's saying to Habakkuk, stop freaking out. Yes, you can do 19 things in your own will to try to not be anxious. Sure, you can wake up tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. and ice bath and then throw in a sauna and go chant to the stars and do your thing. And then you listen to 19 podcasts on how to have magnesium L-threonate and do all these things and rigor yourself and, read all the books on not hurrying and not hustling and not doing and then doing. You can do all of that. But if you're doing all of that because of your faithfulness, your life's going to look the way it always does. Overwhelmed, exhausted, anxious, worried, and afraid. But if you stop doing all those things trying to think that it's going to eradicate the anxiety and you just realize, wait a second, God is faithful. God endures. God loves. God is supremely in control. I trust him. That is infinitely more encouraging than me telling you the 3 ways to not be anxious this week. Because you'll forget those 3 ways. But if you encounter the reality today, friends, that God is faithful to you, he is faithful to the end, then to be really honest with you guys, you wouldn't be worried about tomorrow. How do I know that? Because Jesus actually says that. He says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough worries of its own. Be here today, right now. How can you be here today, right now, when everything is going on and you're stable, non-anxious, here, present? Because that is the person and character of Jesus, who you have been endowed with his power and his presence and his Holy Spirit, and you are called to live just like him. That's how we live, friends. And so the only real big call we have this morning, as we kind of get into worship and we do all that we're going to do, is to quite literally just say, all right, God, I don't know how, but I'm gonna trust that you're faithful, and I'm just gonna let you be faithful. And the one way that we're gonna do this was very powerful in first service, so we're gonna do this again in second, is we're gonna do what's called a prayer exercise. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you do anything awkward, but we're going to actually walk through a process of just saying, all right, Lord, there is a lot when I get on the watchtower of my life that I am so overwhelmed by. I need you to faithfully handle that because I can't on my own. It's an actual thing we need to do, and we do it regularly. And so, band, if you guys can hear me, you guys can come on up onto the stage, and we're going to jump into this. So if you feel comfortable, I would love for you to all close your eyes. And as you're seated, just kind of put your hands out like they're on your thighs or your knees here. And then we'll begin praying together. So Jared, you can go to the next slide so the lights get a little darker. Yep, here we go. All right, friends, let's just take some breaths for a second. You're going to teach your body to slow down. Just take breaths. Feel whatever is going on. Maybe you've got some heaviness on your chest. Maybe you've got a nervous tick going on, or you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe you're like, I don't feel anything. It is what it is. But just take note. Kind of like center yourself and be like, okay, where am I at? What does this chair feel like? My back, my neck, my arms. Okay, here I am. And as you're sitting there, just pray a very simple prayer. Just pray, Jesus, calm me down. Pray it out loud, it's okay. Jesus, calm me down. All right, we're going to imagine something for a minute, so keep your eyes closed. I want you to imagine that you are at the very top of a watchtower. Think of like an ancient big city with a huge tower on this massive wall, and there's a desert that goes for 30 miles out far as the horizon goes. And you're standing right at the very top of the tower, and you can just see out. Blue skies. You're standing there. And I want you to imagine on the horizon the very thing that makes you most anxious. Maybe it's a person, or it's an idea. Maybe it's money, or it's your boss, or it's your spouse, your kids. I want you to imagine that very anxious thing that makes you feel like you're out of control. I want you to imagine that it's coming towards you. It's too far off in the distance to overwhelm you just yet, but they're coming towards you. First thing that comes to your mind, grab it. Don't doubt that, just stick with it. It's a little too far off. So what you do is you grab some binoculars. You go, wait, what is this? What is this? Hold on a second. And you look, and there it is. There's that person. And immediately you're starting to feel it. It's in the chest. It's in the shoulders. Maybe it's in the pit of your stomach. Maybe it's in your back. And you're like, whoa, that overwhelms me. That's good. Sit with that. As you're looking through those lenses, I want you to just say this. Say this out loud quietly. Just say, Jesus, would you show up? Imagine that as you're looking through those lenses, all of a sudden, Jesus is right there next to the person, next to the thing, and he's looking directly at you through those lenses. You can tell that he feels what you're feeling. He's overwhelmed by it. He's anxious. He gets what you're getting right now because he is fully human, fully God. The weight. And I want you to imagine that he places his hands on the shoulders of that person, or he grabs that bucket of money you've been terrified of, or whatever it is, And in just a moment, he sidesteps away, moves them out of the way. And it's just him looking right at you, and he's walking towards you. The anxious presence not there anymore. The thing is not there anymore. Just look at him. Truly look at him and see the face, see the reflection. What emotion is he providing to you? Holy Spirit, we ask that as we enter into worship, whatever feeling we have right now, whatever that sense is that you're doing, please do not stop. Holy Spirit, come like waves. Just keep coming and just move among us. Shift in this room. Take away the fear. Take away the doubt. Take away the anger. Take away the furiousness. Take away the trauma. Just push it off, Lord, just as delicately as you do. Yes, Lord. Move among us, Holy Spirit.